Hi there, Neil from Small Business Big Ideas with another small business marketing tip. And today I am talking to you about networking, again, face-to-face networking. And this is the last tip on this subject for now. And it covers renting some space at a trade show. So I did mention the benefits of going along to trade shows the other day just as a visitor. And I definitely would reaffirm what I said on that video, that it isn't necessary to take space at a trade show. You can get a lot of benefit just from going along, from attending the seminars, from having conversations with people you meet, and talking to people who are exhibiting. But if you do want to take it to the next level, then it is often worthwhile to actually take some space. Now, trade shows tend to be either specific to your niche or industry, or sort of general business expos, and obviously there's pros and cons to both. If you are going along to something which is just particular to your industry, then be aware that firstly, your competitors are likely to be there. You may see that as a bad thing or not. Secondly, you are only likely to be talking to people who are who currently are in a sort of buyer's mindset. Now, you might think, well, that's a good thing. It is, yes. These are people. I'll use an example of an industry that I have had a lot of experience in, say property. There were quite often landlord shows taking place a few times a year. Over the years, I've been to most of them as visitors and exhibited at a couple of them. And you are there talking to landlords and investors who are very much, they identify themselves as being landlords and investors, which is great. It is a target market on tap. But what it doesn't give you any access to are the hundreds or thousands of people who might not be in the market at this one point in time, but due to a change in circumstances or due to a change in mindset or what have you, they do decide to go into property investing at some point in the future. So, going back to what I consider to be a critical stat, that at any one point in time, only 3% of your target market are in a ready-to-buy position. The people attending the trade shows are likely to be in that 3%, or at the very least in the 7% of people below that who have an intention to change in the very near future. Now, that in a way, that's a good thing, that that they are ready to buy, but it's also a bad thing in the sense that it is like firing an arrow at a moving car. You've got a great chance of missing. Also, that's the time when all of your competitors are prowling around with their competitive messages and wanting to get their teeth into the potential customer as well. So it's a bit like a feeding frenzy, I suppose. It's not a great place to potentially drag in people, because it is very much a closed environment. It's not a great place to drag in people who aren't in the market at that one point in time, but it is good to get to people who have self-identified as already having the need. The benefit of going to a non-industry specific trade show is obviously you have got access to a much wider target audience, and there may be some of your competitors there may not. There's certainly likely to be fewer. You're going to have access to a much wider visitor attendee base in terms of people will be from all walks of life, all industries, and that can be a little bit more interesting. And if your marketing activity is very much focused not on, getting someone to buy my stuff at this one point in time, but it's focused on getting leads that you can nurture and build a relationship with over time, then this may be a better bet to gain access to a wider potential target market. Excuse me. I've got a bit of a cough. So you'd need to have a look, and I would suggest before you exhibit at any trade shows, you should go along to it as a visitor if you can. Most of them will take place once or twice a year, so you can get along and check it out, see what it's like, because most of the people organising them will have some form of media pack, and that'll all be nice and glossy and have lots of nice statistics and all that sort of stuff. But there's no substitute for getting along. Is it busy? Does it seem like business is being done? If it's just a case of people going along and scooping up carrier bags with promotional pens and all that sort of stuff, if you've seen my earlier video, you'll know my opinion on promotional pens and that sort of stuff. So, does it look to you as a visitor as a worthwhile exercise? So, don't rush in and start booking a trade stand without visiting yourself first. What I would suggest is if you do take the plunge and commit, then absolutely 100% milk it for all that it's worth, in terms of most of them now will have some form of online presence or app, so you absolutely should do everything you can on there, your company details, links to a website, pictures, run a promotion if they give you the chance to. Do everything that you can. Most of the time, all of the extra bells and whistles are seen as extra bells and whistles. And I would suggest, having spoken to a number of event organisers, there are so many businesses that don't take advantage of the extra opportunities to promote. So you should. It's essentially free on top of your trade space booking. When you've booked your stand, find out whether you need to hire an additional table, power, all that sort of dull, boring stuff, but make sure you've got that sorted out before the day, because that can massively increase your stress levels if you've forgotten that. Work out whether it's something that you think you can manage by yourself, or whether you need to draft in the first instance, friends and family, or staff if you have it. Only at the last resort would I suggest getting in, paid promotional staff. Depending on how big a trade show it is, work out from your experience as a visitor, how many people are going to be coming on your stand at any one time. Is it going to be an issue if you're already having a conversation with someone, if there's no one else for a potential prospect to talk to? I think you need to take a view depending on each individual show. Most recently, when I've done trade shows, because I've been a relatively small setup, I've just gone along myself. If in the space of a 5 or a 6 hour sort of promotional day, I've got to nip off to use the facilities or grab a drink or something like that, and someone misses out, well, if they're that keen, they'll come back. So, have a long, hard think about, whether it's something you can do yourself or whether you do need to draft in additional help. One of the key things that I think you should look at if you are going to exhibit at a trade show is speaking opportunities. Now, I'm pretty much only considering trade shows where I can actually do a seminar. And thankfully, a couple of the event organisers in the region are very receptive to that. and so depending on the show, you're unlikely to have to pay for the speaking opportunity. You may have to pay for the trade stand, the exhibition space, or actually, if you're speaking, sometimes depending on the show, if you ask them nicely, they may even give you something for free, because being there as a speaker is adding value to them. So they'd have a problem if they had speaking slots that weren't filled. You can only really give the same content at a trade show. You can't go back and do the same presentation the following time. So they are always on the lookout for new speakers or new content. And it absolutely just makes so much more of a difference in terms of what you get out of the day and the lead up to the event and following the event. So absolutely, if you are considering taking a stand at a trade show, even if you've never done it before, get out of your comfort zone and ask if you can speak. First time I did that, I asked if I could speak. They said yes, and then I went, right, okay, I need to think about something to talk about, and that's fine. They will probably want a bit of a synopsis and a little bit of a biog a few months in advance, but not that I recommend you do it, because I'm not really a last minute person, but you can give them the biog and the synopsis, and you can be writing it the night before if you really want to. I wouldn't recommend it, but some people work that way. So that's about trade shows and exhibitions. I would recommend, as I say, going along as a visitor, having a look at industry-specific trade shows, and also having a look at general business trade shows. Depending on where you are, you may have both types close to you, or you may need to travel a little bit further, but there are lots of online directories and things that you can go to find them. They may not be massive. Some of them might be quite small scale, but even if they are, chances are the organisers will be looking to increase them, the attendee numbers over time. So get in early and establish your place. So that's my tip today, all about getting out there, getting out of your comfort zone, and taking a space at a trade show. Hope you found it useful. I shall speak to you tomorrow. Bye.